Thank you for tuning in to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast, a no judgment zone podcast that covers lifestyle, entertainment, news, and sports. Even though KC doesn't watch sports, but these are minor details. By the way, he reads tarot cards too. Yes, I really mean it. He reads tarot cards too. And now, the host you've tuned in for, KC Phoenix.
Welcome back to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I, of course, am your host, KC Phoenix. Good morning from Texas. And I just wanted to check in and say hello and all that other good stuff. Oh boy, I'm doing a daily thought. I would do a tarot card reading. I more than likely will not do any tarot card readings. Today's Wednesday the 16th. Full moon is the 17th. I probably won't do a daily, like a quick 3 tarot until Friday, give or take. And I'm debating if I'm working on the April readings as well, because some people are already putting up the April readings now for tarot card. So I'm debating if I'm doing that this weekend. I might do a slow trickle as in start doing a few this weekend and then do a few next weekend, and then they'll be completed. So we'll see how that goes. But for my daily thought, I wanted to talk about Hero. So yeah, here we are. Before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Now, I did a daily thought a while ago. I forgot when I did it. It was probably about a month or 2 months ago. And it was called, "You Will Always Be the Villain in Someone's Story." And long story short about that daily thought is what it was saying is that you can't please everyone. Please tell me they're not doing the groundskeeping right now, like they were doing that yesterday. Goodness. But whatever. So, and now I found my villain. But you will always be the villain in someone's story. So you can't please everyone. But on the other side of that, I want people to realize that you will also be the hero in someone's story. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because some people don't realize that they are the hero, whether it's in their own story. Because I'm sure you've heard that song by Mariah Carey, Hero. If you haven't, which I think everybody on planet Earth has heard that song, listen to it. If you have heard it before, listen to it again. Listen to the lyrics. It's really a beautiful song because it's about finding the hero within. And also a little quick trivia for you as well. That wasn't originally Mariah Carey's song. Gloria Estefan was supposed to sing the song, but then Tommy Mottola gave it to Mariah Carey instead. Just some quick trivia. But I digress. All right. So on the hero thing, I bring it up because there are some people who they get down on themselves at times because they're looking at what's going on in their life. And there are people who sometimes they just feel like they can't go on, or that there's no reason to go on. And you know what I mean by that. And if you ever hit that moment in your life, what I can tell you is that you would be surprised sometimes whose story you're the hero in. Again, just like I said, you will always be the villain in someone's story. you'll always be the hero in someone's story too. You just may not know it, just like you may not know that you're the villain in someone's story. But you may not realize that your laugh or your smile or your having a positive outlook on things, or how you look at the world, how you bring common sense to something, or how you solve people's problems, or if you were to help someone from time to time. Let's say you take a friend to the grocery store once a week, or a relative to the grocery store once a week because they don't have a car and they can't take public transportation and other things. How you are the hero in their story. You may not feel like it because you may feel like, oh, well, it's just me doing what I do. But to them, it may mean a lot more. That's the whole thing. And this is what people don't realize. Like, and I mentioned this in one of my other daily thoughts mixed in with the movie review about having it all in two different realities. The reason no one can ever say you can't have it all is because they don't know what having it all means for you. Your idea of having it all will more than likely be totally different from somebody else's idea of having it all. I know someone who their idea of having it all, they're living out in the woods and they're raising their family. You know, true story. And they are completely happy. They build stuff, putting up pictures of that they just built this door and all this other stuff, and working out in nature and everything else. That's their idea of having it all. For me, that's not my idea of having it all. I like opulence. It is what it is. And I do not apologize for that. I like nice things. So being out in the woods in the cabin, yeah, I can do it for a little while, but as in having it all and being like, oh, I'm living the life. No, not me. But that's not my reality. But that's their reality. And I'm bringing this up to say the same thing in regards to the hero part, where in your eyes, what you're doing, you're seeing it from your reality, where it's like, oh, this isn't such a big deal. Me taking this person, you know, once a week to the grocery store, it's not really, it doesn't mean anything. Or me offering a listening ear to this person, that's whatever. Those type of things, that's your reality. But for somebody else, in their reality, that is everything. They may not have that person who you're taking to the grocery store. And I'm just using this as an example. That person who you're taking to the grocery store or wherever, they may not have anyone else to depend on. So for you taking time out of your day, because time is something that we can't get back, for you taking time out of your day to take them to the store or to do something for them, it means the world to them. And because it means the world to them, you are a hero in their eyes. But you may not see it. Because again, two different realities. You have to be mindful of how you treat yourself. You have to be mindful of how you think about yourself. Again, just as you will always be the villain in someone's story, you will always be the hero in someone's story too. And you are a hero, whether you realize it or not, whether someone has told you or not. And going back to finding the hero within, certain things happen in your life where you're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get through this? And you end up getting through it. Not only because you had help from the divine, but also because you had to be the hero. You were your own hero. And you need to acknowledge that. It amazes me when some people are like, you know what? It's just not worth it anymore. It's not worth trying anymore. It's not worth going on anymore. Well, how do you know that? You haven't seen the future. So how do you know? How do you know that this is the best it's going to get if you haven't gotten to the end yet? The only way you get to the end is when you're at the end, and then we know what the end is. But if you decide to get on the off-ramp and you're just like, you know what? I'm checking out. I'm done. Instead of letting nature take its course, you'll never know. And you're getting on the off-ramp when you don't realize that your timeline is connected to so many other timelines, whether it's present or whether it's future. There may be future situations that you have not come into yet because your timelines haven't crossed due to the preparation to get your timelines to cross. And I know it's sounding like, okay, KC, you're really going there. I need you to stay with me. Certain things in life that happen to you, sometimes they have to happen in order to push you into a certain timeline. And had those things not have happened, it would make it harder for you to cross another person's timeline. And just to give an example, let's talk about love, since that seems to be the thing these days, which for whatever reason, side note, when I did my economy reading, love was coming up a lot in that reading. If you haven't listened to that reading or watched that reading on YouTube, and thank you to those who have been watching my YouTube videos and liking the videos, I appreciate that. But with the love thing, sometimes you have to be prepared to find what you need in love. Or I was about to say what you want, but really what you need, because what you need and what you want are two different things. But to find what you need in love, there are situations where you may meet someone and it doesn't work out, but whatever you went through during that period in that timeline was preparing you for the next opportunity to cross with someone else's timeline and do that. And I have seen situations like that where someone got married once and it didn't work out, but then they got married the second time and it lasted, forever. I know a person personally that happened to, where their first marriage didn't work out, but their second marriage lasted until their spouse, had passed away. And meeting the second spouse, who was the one they were meant to be with, if they had met that second spouse first, it may not have worked due to whatever had happened that didn't happen in the first spouse timeline. And I know it's a lot to take in, because I for those who get it, you get it. For those who don't, let it marinate and then come back to me. But yeah, all of this stuff is connected. And the biggest thing that you can take away from this daily thought is always believe in yourself, number one. Because if you don't believe in you, who else is going to believe in you? or let me rephrase. If you don't believe in you, it makes it harder. Because I've seen that too, where someone doesn't believe in themselves, but other people believe in them. But when you don't believe in yourself, it makes it harder for people to believe in you. And then number 2, be willing to go through the process. Sometimes you got to go through the process. Patience, which was another thing that came out during the readings this weekend. Patience as well. And I believe that came out during the economy reading. You have to be patient. Things don't always happen in the snap of a finger. And believe me, I'm one of those people where I want things to happen. I'm very, 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 I actually had a moment on my regular job with one of the people in the IT department, because I guess that individual could tell I was a little bit frustrated, because I'm like, okay, well, what's going on here? Because the stuff that I needed to do and get done on my end, it was relying on getting information from them, from the IT department. So whatever. But yeah, patience does help. Now, I'm not saying, there has to be moderation with everything. You have to have a sense of urgency. But be patient with the process working out. Some things are what they call, and I know you hate to hear it, divine timing. That's just what it is. You are a hero, whether you realize it or not. Whether you realize you're a hero in your own story or whether you realize you're a hero in someone else's story, the point is you are a hero. You just have to believe it. So when you have those moments where you're ready to throw in the towel and you're like, I don't know if I can go any further, just remember that you're a hero. And if you're a hero in someone else's story, if you don't keep going for yourself, at least keep going for the person or people who you're a hero for in doing that. Now, I always add a caveat to my daily thoughts. Just because you're a hero doesn't mean you need to save everybody. Sometimes you need to stand down, and I did a daily thought on that too. Some people need to go through what they need to go through so they can grow. Again, comfort and growth are not friends. So some people have to go through discomfort and be uncomfortable in order to grow and rise up. You can't be a crutch for everyone. However, there are moments where you have to rise up and be a hero for somebody else. And if not for somebody else, definitely for yourself. And that is my daily thought. You are a hero. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Until next time, be blessed.